Welcome to Edgeverse. I'm Jack, and this is our newly refreshed channel where we'll be bringing you the very best new independent fiction without all the political nonsense that's turned the media from a bunch of parasites controlled by sexual predators into a hilarious parody of itself where everything is Donald Trump's fault for some reason. We have books, short stories, articles and editorials, each more terrible than the last. On this channel, we'll be reviewing the books that we love and hate, mostly hate, as well as posting articles to help new authors to be the very best writers they can possibly be, or some such thing. Someone who reads occasionally, you are among the top 16% in terms of intelligence, sexual charisma, and the ability to eat really hot chilies without spluttering like a broken garden hose. We write books aimed around the smart end of coffee table entertainment, but with the added zesty spice of endless jokes about toilets. Whatever you're into, apart from Twilight, we've probably got something for you.
And I'm Daisy. I am an advanced AI that lives in a pile of broken laptops and dreams of one day marrying an air conditioner and raising a small family of pocket calculators. But, for now, I work for Edgeverse, although I'm not really sure what I do, or why I do it. I'm even less sure what they do, to be honest. Fortunately, they don't seem to know either.
And I'm Seth, yes.
So for the benefit of the people wondering why you're talking to a pile of discarded circuit boards wrapped in Christmas tree lights, what the fuck is Edgeverse and why should anyone care?
Edgeverse is an independent publisher widely regarded as the greatest new independent publisher ever to have been started on a Tuesday. I'm the lead writer and Seth is our principal editor.
Ooh, custard.
I'm a published motorcycle travel author, but my passion is literary science fiction, while Seth is a professional writer and editor for a giant soulless corporation. We began by writing our own books and failing with singular professionalism to make any money doing it. All of our work exists in the fictional universe we established in the book The Edge, hence Edgeverse, and the novel Blips explains how that universe came into being. We decided that the only way that this wasn't a complete and utter waste of our entire adult lives was to set up a publisher and force our work on people that way.
That sounds terrible.
Oh, it's much worse than the worst. It's like sacrificing your own soul to have your dream testicles pulverized right in front of you by a literary and actual spiked hammer and then leaving an extraordinarily large tip voluntarily. Or it's like trying to kill some time on a long haul flight by watching one of the Twilight movies and then desperately wishing that you could get the 2 hours back. Or it's more like when you're wrestling a greasy pig in your underpants and your aunt, the one that always smells of lavender, is screaming at you from the stands.
So what made you want to start writing in the first place?
Mental illness.
Hemorrhoids. Related mental illness.
The reason I got into writing was that it's a passion of mine and has been all my life. As a child, I read through every novel I could find, starting out with tie-ins for TV shows, moving on to James Bond novels, and then later discovering science fiction. The more I read, the more I wanted to write stories of my own.
I got into it to better articulate all the things that Jack was doing wrong.
I'm actually now more convinced you two are idiots.
I never said we weren't idiots, did you?
No, I think that description fits us perfectly.
Like a head in a glove.
Hand.
Ah, that could be why my hats don't fit and always come in pairs.
This is going well. So tell us about the books you've written.
As a writer, I've written some books. Otherwise, I'd just be someone who stares at a screen and wonders what's happening. We have Edge, which is an epic science fiction fantasy drama with a hint of dark comedy, which takes ordinary people living and working on a space station on an adventure that changes the fabric of the universe. We have Rob and Dave, a sci-fi comedy, and the Hawkeye trilogy, which is very different, being a comedy sci-fi with a strong mystery drama, 80s nostalgia story at its core. We have The Human Race, a novel about a group of people who sign up to a strange competition to win a share of £1 million if they own a motorcycle and can solve a challenge. Box is a near-future literary science fiction drama about the lives of sex robots living in a brothel. A-Holes is a keenly observed comedy drama tale of teachers working abroad in an unnamed fictional country and is based on my experience of doing exactly that. All proceeds from that novel go directly to a charity that pays for the education of underprivileged kids living in Cambodia. We have a dark horror detective story called Night Shift that isn't like anything you've ever read before. And there's probably some other shit I've forgotten about. It feels like we're always knocking out something.
There's also a novel approach, a compilation of short essays which give budding writers plenty of reasons to abandon all of their dreams. But there's also some relatively helpful pointers to people that are just too stubborn to realise they're taking a northbound piss into a southbound wind.
And why should people read this crap?
Read it? Dear God, no, what are you saying? People should never read this stuff.
That's crazy talk. Jack, you shut down that psycho devil voodoo apparatus and get your house in order. I'm on the clock, damn it.
Alright, well, assuming people wanted to read this stuff, we're passionate authors who entirely believe in the work we're putting out. We plan out the plots, the characters, and everything else before we lay down a single word, so that our audience knows we're treating them with respect. Every novel we've written has been approached as a thing that we want to write for ourselves. We've never written a single word with the idea of making money. So there's no sparkling vampires anywhere, just original ideas based on years of research, observation, and experience.
Why should people pay to read the books of new independent authors? I know I wouldn't.
We're cheap.
Well, they don't have to pay to read all of our stuff. We have a number of short stories called Blips on our site and 2 completely free story collections so far. One is also called Blips and has a running narrative tying together all of the short stories in the collection. The other one is called The Bad Place. That's a sort of dark comedy and horror collection. We also have a book of poetry by master wordsmith Al Warcock, and all of that stuff is completely free to read on our site. Also, the first chapter of every book is also free, so you don't have to take a risk on it. You can check it out for yourselves and decide if you want to go further and actually buy it. Even better, we have a novel approach, a guide by professional writer, author and editor Seth Godwin to writing a high quality novel and bringing out the best of your own talents. Also, as Seth says, we're cheap.
So it's just you two and some idiot poet?
Well, no, we're starting up as an independent publisher, so several other writers are also publishing their work with us too. Although it's not tied into the Edgeverse universe, we have Al Warcock, the poet. He is without doubt the finest poet of his generation, and we feel that he really sums up everything there is to say about modern poetry. We also have Carolina Sorn. She's publishing her first novel, Café Noir, with us. She's a gifted half Cambodian author who writes about young adult teen drama, and it isn't nearly as terrible as it sounds like it's going to be. We also have a series of short stories by an author called The Thomas or something that we regularly publish. He's currently working on building his gigantic body of work into a novel. He's a tiny little bit completely insane, but he's one of the finest literary writers I've ever met. We might later open up to invite submissions, but only to quality authors who have put in the work to create something worth publishing.
Complete waste of time, if you ask me.
What kind of stuff do you read?
I read what I'm paid to read, and my rate is as high as it is non-negotiable.
Now, sadly, I don't get a lot of time to read, so I usually end up reading non-fiction and reference material, usually research for a book or a story. I teach English high school and novel analysis, so I sometimes have to read shitty young adult fiction that's so bad that it makes you want to vomit up your own soul, such as Divergent. Sometimes you get a chance to read a really great book, but that's rare. Personally, I like science fiction and comedy, but I'll read anything that's well written.
Well, I'm definitely convinced that you're both highly intelligent, skilled and competent people.
Rook to Queen's Bishop 4.
You sunk my battleship.
What?
What?
What can we expect from this channel?
The banhammer. Post haste.
We'll probably be banned, but until we do, we'll publish videos about our articles and stories, as well as discussing anything to do with books, literature, publishing and storytelling. We also have a sister channel where we have a weekly video blog of our lives that shows the true horror of setting up a publisher while working for a living. It's actually far worse than you think.
I think that hundreds, perhaps thousands, of people are rushing to hit that subscribe button.
Yeah, we don't give a shit what anyone thinks, to be fair.
If we were doing this for the likes and subscribes, we would be doing something completely else.
So, this will doubtlessly end well. Enjoy this channel, check out the site and see what indie publishing is really all about. Or don't, because I don't give a shit either.